Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. Okay. We're now live. Morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick top-down analysis of what I'm looking at in price. And we're gonna go from the higher time frame down to the daily. All right. So monthly time frame, we have been very, very aggressive. I mean, this is a very large type of range candle, especially for the monthly time frame. So this is the opening. We have our manipulation, and then we had our distribution going lower. I can't really see more data on our current contract for M and Q, so I'm gonna go to the NQ monthly time frame. All right. So as of now, for our monthly time frame, this is NQ, and we can see that we have our swing low to swing high of this deviation pole. You can see how we tap -2 right here with this wick of December 2. And then we had that retracement back down to discount after tapping our -2 standard deviation. So yes, we had this massive sell-off ever since the opening of February. However, yes, we have this massive sell-off going down, right? But at the same time, this could be a good opportunity to go long, because all we're doing is expanding, having some sort of retracement back down to discount, and then we're going to look to see if we want to continue going higher. What are my key levels? Well, we are currently inside this daily rally gap. We are currently inside this daily rally gap. So what I want to see is whether we want to respect this portion of our monthly fair value gap, and I'm thinking this is the M and Q, but this is the NQ. This is the NQ ticker right now, so we are inside this monthly fair value gap, and we also have this change in the state delivery. So we're also retesting these down close candles right here. So this is a very important leg for me to view whether we want to close below and then continue going lower, or if we want to respect it and actually continue going higher. So yes, this month will be a very important month because it will determine the closures and the bias going into the following months for quarter 3, quarter 4. But overall, this is my key point of interest where I'm looking to see whether we put in the low of the month right here and we want to continue going higher, or if we just want to continue going lower and then look for these lows down here and then potentially these lows too. But that is the NQ on the monthly. In terms of the weekly time frame on NQ, we're also within these weekly gaps here. But if I go back to M&Q over June contract, weekly, bearish, daily time frame, this is where I'm looking to see something. So yesterday we had this daily gap. You can see how Monday or Tuesday opened, manipulated. We didn't take out this daily gap. We actually left it unfilled. So we have these equal highs resting above. ES did fill the daily gap, but NQ didn't. So there was some sort of S&T at the highs before we had this move down. But if we look at ES, we filled it perfectly. It was a tap into the daily gap and then seeing that reaction going lower. So if we are bearish, the overall drawn liquidity for ES and NQ will be these monthly lows. So this external from this internal. How do we confirm whether we want to offer fair value from this daily gap to these monthly lows? We use confirmation. Scaling down to our 4-hour time frame, what are we looking at currently? So this was the obvious retracement into the daily gap. Then we had this 4-hour change in state. And now we're retracing back up into this 4-hour gap. So this is going to be very important because not only do we have this 4-hour gap, but we also have this 4-hour BISI that we have traded into as well. So two main higher time frame PD arrays. Usually this will result in trapped order flow where price is ranging back and forth. And it makes sense too at the same time because if we look at our economic calendar, today is Wednesday. We have FOMC meeting minutes in the PM session. We also have CPI tomorrow. So it is the day before CPI and the day after a large range day. So we could expect some kind of tight range for the daily print, which is why I'm not very risk on for today, more risk off. But what I'm looking to see right now is 10 o'clock opening, whether we want to respect this 4-hour gap, continue going lower, or disrespect this 4-hour gap and actually continue going higher. Because we also have this OB right around this area, and we have this 4-hour gap. So mostly just waiting for 10 o'clock, waiting to see how we close, and we can look to frame some kind of bias and draw. But overall, I'm still bearish on indices until we get a closure above this 4-hour gap. So now I'm going to be going over the hourly time frame. All right, hourly time frame. So once we pierced into that 4-hour gap, we retrace back down into this hourly BISI. We're seeing that move back up from this BISI offering fair value. If we're bullish, right? If we're bullish, the best draw for us being bullish will obviously be these equal highs above. Because you have to think about our monthly time frame. We also have traded back down into discount. So if we're bullish, then these equal highs will be a good draw on liquidity. If we're bearish, then our monthly lows will be our obvious draw. Right now, I'm bearish until we get a 4-hour candle closure above our current 4-hour PDA. So I'm actually going to make this visible only on that time frame. Okay. So this is the 4-hour gap that we have traded into. What I'm looking to see is whether we want to respect this 4-hour gap, continue going lower, retesting these consecutive up close candles. So the last one, get a order block retest, and then I'll look for a 1-minute confirmation entry down to the lows. If for whatever reason we violate these highs above and close above, then the whole framework of me looking for shorts will now be off, and we'll look for the highs above, which is these equal highs here. But overall, I'm still bearish. So I'm looking to see how 10 o'clock 4-hour candle will open. So we're getting some reactions from this 15-minute change in state. So this 15-minute OB. That hourly high looks like an FOMC target and then dump. We're about 863 points away from our monthly lows. And we are about, I would say, 1,000 points away from first daily high. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so we're going into deep premium of this range. Like I said, if we violate this 4-hour imbalance with a 4-hour candle closure above, at least above the consequent encroachments at the midpoint of this gap, and we close above it, then my bias for being bearish will be off. Because at the same time, this whole entire retracement back down could just be for an optimal entry point on our 15 and then just continue pushing higher for these equal highs above. So we have taken these highs out now. We do have one small 4-hour imbalance above on ES. So we have this small 4-hour SIBI. We're about to reach equilibrium soon of this range. So from the high to the swing low, we're about to reach equilibrium here soon. So we're just being patient right now. All right, so we have tapped equilibrium and premium now of this range. To make this visible. My final idea of us being short or being bearish is ideally just a retracement up into premium of the range to then continue going lower. So this is my final idea. So retracement up into premium, then coming back down, closing below these up close candles, retesting, and then going for the lows. So this is the only scenario I have in mind. Otherwise, we're likely just to go higher. So already took out London highs. Give me 1 minute. All right, so we're still inside the 4-hour SIBI. So you have about 12 more minutes until 10 a.m. opens. So my main focus right now for the 10 a.m. open is the midpoint of this gap. So like I said, if the 10 o'clock opens above the midpoint, so around this area, then this 4-hour gap has the higher probability of being invalidated and then us pushing higher for these highs. If 10 o'clock opens and we respect the midpoint of this gap, then we still have the possibility of looking for shorts. Gonna look to see if there's any SMTs at the highs. So NQ took out this high at 245, but ES failed to take that high. So these are the current SMTs at these highs. Like I said, my final idea for being bearish will be a close below these consecutive up close candles and then looking for a retest of it. So the retest of the order block. So price for whatever reason respects this 4-hour imbalance and closes below the midpoint, and we start grinding lower again and then retesting it, and that's where I'll look to frame shorts. If we don't get this, then I'll probably stay on the sidelines until there's a clearer picture. Because I like the idea of being short for the monthly lows, but at the same time, we are inside our monthly discount range. So this range right here on NQ, we are in discount of this range. So this is where you usually just expect some kind of push for higher prices. So if we get that validation of that 4-hour gap and continue moving higher, then we can have the possibility of already setting the low of the month and then seeing if we want to continue grinding higher. So this is going to be very good to confirm the direction of the remaining of the monthly candle. All right, 7 more minutes into the new 10 a.m. 4-hour candle opens. If we close above, then this ideally, this retracement bed down to OTE would be clean just for us to take out the equal highs resting above, which are the highs on NQ that we have. So these highs above here. So basically expansion, retracement, and then more expansion for these highs. All right, so these S&Ts on our 15-minute are still holding. So we have filled the 4-hour imbalance now on our 4-hour time frame. So we're above it now. 6 more minutes into the new 4-hour candle opens. So right now, the more possible scenario is us having this 4-hour gap failing to offer fair value. So using it as a inversion and then looking for higher prices. All right, 4 more minutes. This was a good possibility right here. But these equal highs do look good as well too. So we'll see. Because if we are bullish, then those equal highs would definitely be a good draw liquidity. If not, to swing some calls on SPY or QQQ. All right, 3 more minutes here into the new 4-hour candle opens. All right, so we're overall green a lot for today. We're green for futures, crypto, stocks, including Forex. All right, 1 more minute here into the 4-hour candle opens. So the possibility of us looking for shorts are now probably gone now because we are invalidating this 4-hour imbalance. So the first scenario was just us looking for shorts off that 4-hour imbalance, these monthly lows. But since we're invalidating this 4-hour imbalance, then what we can do is look for any type of continuation play to the upside, looking for that previous daily high or these equal highs resting above. If I don't really get like a 15-minute gap entry, then I'll probably just sit on my hands because we do have CPI on tomorrow and we also have PPI on Friday. So we also have news later today, I'm pretty sure at 2 o'clock. So we'll see what we can work with. If I don't see any setup, then I'm not really going to take it. So we have close above the midpoint of this 4-hour gap, so this is not validated. Okay. So hourly structure right now. So what we could say is a retracement to OTE of this range. So we'll mark out my OTE right now. So this is our OTE. We could say that this was a retracement back down to OTE. Then we have these down close candles being respected like this. So change in the state. And then we have another change in the state here. So what we could look for is a retracement back down, retesting it, and then look for a move continuing going higher. This is the ideal scenario I have in mind. That's an ugly arrow. So waiting for some kind of retracement and then looking for some kind of longs out this area. So this is what I'm thinking right now. Overall, hourly structure looks way more bullish now, especially with that 4-hour closure above. So I'm gonna look to see if I can get some kind of retracement back down to that hourly OB, and then look for a 5-minute entry going long. There's no more bearish S&T. Yeah, bearish S&T got invalidated. 4-hour gap got invalidated. So if market's telling us it wants to push higher, then what I'm going to do is just try to align myself within that direction. And if I don't get an entry, that's fine too, because I'm willing to wait for CPI tomorrow and PPI. So we're going to mark this out as our key level. We're going to wait for that retracement back down. All right, so 10 a.m. open here. Within that key level, we also have this 15-minute gap below us. I'm gonna mark that 15-minute gap out. So we're very close to our key level here, guys. All right. So ideally right now, I'm just looking for us to retrace into the hourly OB, and we have that 15-minute busy right below it. So I'm just tape reading the move going lower here. I'm gonna look to see if I can get the entry on the 5-minute. So if we do come back down, I'm gonna look for that 5-minute entry. And then go for like a 2R, or maybe go for like a -2 standard deviation target. So if I do find an entry, I'm definitely gonna go low risk on it. I'm not going heavy size or anything like that. So we're just patiently waiting right now. Patience, 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 patience. Because so far, hourly structure looks good. So if we do want to put the monthly low wick in and have some sort of retracement up or reversal out of the monthly low that we put in, then we can trade the hourly structure and then look for refined entries in the lower time frame. So usually when I look for higher time frame TD rates for me to trade off of, I usually don't like looking at the lower time frame. I just like to stick in on the higher time frame, waiting for the gap to be filled, and then scaling down to the lower time frame. But I can definitely tell that a lot of people got stopped out on shorts today, playing off the 4-hour gap. I can definitely say that with confidence. All right, we're almost there now. We're about to fill up that 15-minute valley gap, and we're about to tap that hourly key level here. All right, so we tapped the hourly key level. Now, I want to see if we at least tap into this 15-minute. If we don't and we react away, then that's totally fine as well. I at least want to see this swing low get taken. So if I do look for an entry on the 5-minute time frame, I want to see this. I want to see that low get taken. And then I want to see some kind of change in the state. And then look for that OB retest. And this is where I can play longs here. And as far as stop loss goes, stop loss would be the low that we put in. And then target can be either a fixed 2R, or we can draw some deviations out. And then look for that -2 standard deviation target. There are some clean highs here though. Like if I go to the 15, we do have this nice high right here. So you could probably look for this high instead. So I don't really want to hold any trades. I want to be in and out. So maybe that high. Let me draw my premium discount range. Yeah, these two highs looks good. This is the swing high at premium, so I might just go for this one instead. So I'm gonna go back to the 5-minute. So yeah, this high right here. This will be a 3R trade. Yeah, I'm content with this. As far as size goes, I'll do maybe like 2 M&Q contracts. Saw risk like 0.3%. Yeah, this is good. All right, I'll go in with 2 M&Q if I get an entry. So I'm comfortable with 2 M&Q because ever since the volatility kicked in, trading 1 micro is absurd, especially with the heavy volatility. I mean, 324 points. I'd never seen that in so long. Because usually this type of trade would be like 50 or 60 points. But with this volatility, it just 10x. So we're going to look to see if we get this entry. So right now I'm just patiently waiting for this low to get taken. Right here. And then looking for that change in the state to then look for longs going higher. And if possible, we can also get some kind of S&T. That would be preferably better too, giving it more confluence. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying that this is exactly what this is exactly what the market would do. But I'm just giving a rough idea of what I want to see to then look for an entry. So I'm just waiting for this low right here to be swept. And then looking for us to then continue going higher. So if we do take a trade, we'll go in with like two micros, 2 micro contracts. So we are still below the 10 a.m. open. I would definitely prefer a deeper retracement for the 4-hour wick. So yeah, we have already tapped our hourly OB. So from us tapping our hourly OB, we actually moved up around 80 points. But yeah, if I was to trade the hourly structure, like in the higher time frame, the ideal entry would be like this. So entry at the OB, stop loss could be either this low or this low. And then obviously your target would be these equal highs above. If I were to swing this, then this is how I would trade it. So we're trading to OTE and then swing it to these equal highs. So let's see if we get this liquidity raid. And then take out this swing high here at premium of the range. There we go. So we're getting that reaction from this OB here. I swept this swing high here. So right now it's more of waiting waiting and just tape reading price. Not really engaging in the market until we get real confirmation. I'm gonna draw out the midpoint of this OB. Because if price closes above the midpoint of this OB and then continue grinding higher and takes out this high, then ideally this entry down here, this idea of this entry, would just be invalidated. And this would just be considered a missed setup or missed entry for since we tapped into the hourly OB already. So it's either we wait for our setup and then look for longs, or we close above it and then completely just miss the setup. I would rather wait. I'm not gonna just engage in the market because the rules are the rules. TD array settings tutorial. Are you referring to the fib or just this? But yeah, like I said, it's either I wait for the setup or I miss the setup. And you know I'm always going to go with wait for the setup. So I drew out the midpoint of this OB because I don't want to see us close above the midpoint of it. Otherwise, that would just be a greater confluence of this OB being disrespected and then pushing higher. But if we respect the midpoint of this OB, then possibility of us respecting it and going lower. Because before we go higher, I want us to go lower first, taking out the sell side and staying into this 15-minute fair value gap. And then now we can look for that shift in the lower time frame structure to then look for longs. So I want to see us go lower before we go higher in short term. In 33 minutes, we are also going to create an hourly gap. So if we want to stall price, like for example, if you want to maybe like consolidate in this range and then have that 11 o'clock opening manipulation down into the hourly gap, then we can look for maybe continuation into the PM session, looking for those longs this high, like that. That could be also a good scenario. It's just not going to be in the ideal time window that I like to trade in. But if we do get the scenario, then I'll definitely take the trade, going low risk, and we'll just target this high at premium right here. So we're retesting the 10 a.m. open. Yeah, we're about to create a fair value gap on the hourly time frame in 30 minutes. I think if we stall price around this area, then that would make sense just for us to have a retracement down later on. Mhm. But yeah, compared to yesterday's New York session expansion, today looks like a very tight range here for the daily print. Yeah, we're definitely gonna probably just chop around this range for a little while. I'm gonna give it 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes. So if in 30 more minutes we don't get that liquidity rate and then that change in the state, then I'm gonna end the live stream and then look for us to potentially trade into. Let me see if I can pull it out. Into this hourly gap here. Because what I don't want to see is us having that open, retesting this hourly OB, and then pushing higher. I don't really want to see this. Otherwise, I'm just going to miss the setup for longs. But if for whatever reason we stall around this 10 a.m. candle and we just stall around the opening, we can have the 11 o'clock open pretty much, have that manipulation down into the hourly key level, which is this hourly gap, and then have that distribution going higher. Eventually taking out this high up here and going into this hourly gap. So actually, I'm gonna move the target from this to here because this is the hourly gap at premium that we have for M and Q. So I'm actually gonna move the target from this candle's high to this hourly gap instead. That seems like a better target in my opinion. So the target is going to be this hourly gap here if we do get an entry. So that's if price doesn't run without us. But overall, the rules are the rules. Gotta follow the rules here, guys. All right, so we're above the 10 a.m. opening price. We didn't really get that short-term liquidity rate. So we didn't get that. We didn't take out this low and then look for that continuation going higher. So I'm gonna mark out this down close candle, the last down close candle. If we get a closure above, this would be a OB here. So I'm gonna have that marked out. What's the name of your checklist indicator? So the name is pretty much checklist by TAZFX. So you can just search up the name of it and it should pop out. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. We're back. Had to use the bathroom real quick. So let's see what we're looking at here. So we're above the 10 a.m. open. This 5-minute candle had a closure above this last down close candle. Not really a type of displacement type of candle closure. So this would be considered your OB, your change in the state, but I don't really like this closure. I would prefer like a larger closure, like a displacement candle closure, and then look for that retest. But I'm not really going to play longs, even if we retest this OB, just because it's not really a high probability type of entry for me. So yeah, if we do somehow close above, retest, and then push higher, I'm not taking this entry because it's not really the high probability type of entry that I always take. So definitely gonna be a tape read. But yeah. Where do you stay? Where do you stay at? Right now, I'm in New Jersey. So I'm in Jersey right now. All right. So we got about 22 minutes into 11 a.m. open. Like I said, if we don't get a setup by 11 o'clock, I'm going to shut down the live stream. Not shut down, but I'm going to end the live stream and then maybe look for PM session to trade into the hourly gap that we're currently about to make. So this is the hourly gap here. Like I talked about earlier, we don't get an entry by 11 o'clock. I'll be happy to play the longs on the PM session. So we're tracing down to the hourly gap and looking for that shift and then targeting these highs of this hourly gap here at premium. So this is what I'm looking at right now. I live in Jersey where you live in Jersey too. I'm in Morristown. 10 a.m. open high, low close, internal sweep, 1 minute CIC of the M15 OB rebalance equilibrium. Yeah, that's a good one right there. This morning I was looking for shorts, but ever since we invalidated that 4 hour gap, I kind of just switched the bias and looked for longs, but we're gonna see if we get an entry by 11. If we don't, then I'll probably just shut down the charts and close the charts up. I live in New Brunswick, but college in Florida. That's cool. I feel like every trader I meet lives in New Jersey. It's insane. I'm getting chopped. Yeah, it's very choppy right now. Yeah, these type of candles where we trade around the opening are the worst kind of candles, like doji candles. All right, so there's a slight SMT at the highs here with ES. SMT at the highs. We have a 15-minute gap below. So if we do want to rebalance that 15 and look for this low right here, then the ideal time would be now, considering that we're below the 10 a.m. open. If not, then it's either just one consolidation or the remaining of the hourly candle. Yeah, Lonto lives in New Jersey as well. we're still chopping around this area. No real significant displacement or push higher or lower. So yeah, when candles are just ranging around the opening of 10 a.m. or a certain opening of a candle, then it's just not a very ideal area to trade. I'm gonna take this 5-minute OB. Down, send it lower. Otherwise, it's just one consolidation. Yeah, this is chop right here. All right, I'm in the live stream, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the stream for CPI tomorrow. So we have CPI tomorrow on Thursday, and then we have PPI on Friday. So no trades for me today. Pretty much just been tape reading the whole day. Just waiting for a setup, but no real proper setup aligned with what I like to trade. So no trade for me today. But I will catch you guys on live stream for tomorrow on CPI. So be safe, guys. Don't do any dumb stuff, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out, guys.